Professor Humbke. Could you please introduce yourself, especially your education background and other work experience related to education?
Hello, everybody. My name is Roger Humbke. I'm from Alberta, Canada. I went to university at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, where I got a Bachelor of Education and a Master's degree in Education. I have taught for about 20 years in Alberta. I've taught every subject and grade in every grade 1 through 9 in provinces of British Columbia, Alberta, and Manitoba. I've also been a school superintendent, and I spent 10 years working in Chinese public high schools. I've helped many Chinese get to English-speaking universities, mainly in Canada, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. In China, I've worked in large cities: Zhengzhou, Luoyang, Shenyang, Jilin City, Guangzhou, and Sanya.
Is it necessary to use an agency to apply for Canadian universities?
Absolutely not. In Canada, the principal, guidance counselors, and teachers see this as a part of their job. We take children to universities to motivate them. When I'm in China, that is part of my job, to make the students aware of what is possible. And once they are there, I even would go and travel across Canada and visit them at their university. I usually would stay in university facilities when I was there.
When applying for Canadian schools, what advice can you give to Chinese parents and students?
When you're looking at universities in Canada, all colleges, universities, and technical schools that are public are considered equal. Employers don't necessarily ask you what place you got your training in. They just want to know what degree and what skills you have. You may have to go to larger centers and larger universities to get specialties like medicine, perhaps law, but mostly I would recommend that Chinese students first attend a smaller university or college and get 1 year at least, and probably 2 years, and then they can transfer to a larger university. Smaller universities have smaller class size. You may be a member of a 25, one of 25, and the professors will get to know you personally. They will know if you're not coming to class. In the large universities, forget it. You're one of maybe 300 or 600 students. They will never know you. They won't know your name. As a matter of fact, in large universities at Toronto, they don't really want to know you till you're a graduate student. That means you've been there for 4 years. So I would recommend smaller colleges where you will get more involved in the community. Yes, you would just take part in community activities more, and you're less likely to just try to find a Chinese group to associate with outside of class time.
What are the advantages and disadvantages for Chinese overseas students at Canadian universities in order to have outstanding academic performance?
Their main advantage is that they are determined, They are willing to work hard. They will focus on their course before other activities. Canadians tend to go to universities partly to have fun and to get away from home. Chinese go to learn, to get everything they can from the experience. The disadvantage that Chinese face is that they like to study English, but they don't want to use it. They have to learn to listen in English, speak English, write English, and read in English. This is the biggest challenge they will have. When they come here, they will look for other Chinese people or Chinese learners, students to stay with, and they will be talking immediately in Chinese. They will watch Chinese movies together. They will always talk Chinese when they're in their small group. That is the biggest disadvantage. They have to speak and listen in English until they dream in English, and they especially think in English. To have outstanding academic performance, they should talk English with other Chinese, and they should join clubs that only use English. They should stay in a residence where they only speak English. I know it's difficult, but for the first 2 years, I believe they should do that.
What can Chinese students do to prepare themselves for going to English universities?
Well, same like the last question. Listen, speak, read, and write English at every opportunity. Go to the English corners. Every city in China has English corners where you can go on Sunday and meet foreigners and ask them questions in English. Talk with them in English. That's one way. Also, learn English songs, sing English songs, watch English movies. You can talk online on the internet with people who speak or understand only English. Make friends with people who do not speak Chinese.
Is the pandemic well controlled in Canada now? And what precautions should Chinese students take before landing in Canada?
Regulations vary across Canada, but I would say it's well controlled. You have to remember that different provinces, different cities, and different universities have different regulations. So you have to find out your regulations for the university you're attending and meet their requirements. I personally believe your own body and mind are your best doctor. I rarely go to doctors and live a healthy lifestyle. Make sure you get 8 hours of sleep and maintain a good immune system. That's my main advice.
What are the most important learning skills at Canadian universities that may be unfamiliar with?
Main one is that you have to put your face in your pocket. You have to be willing to make mistakes. And you have to ask questions. You have to learn to ask questions. There are no bad questions. And you have to answer questions, whether you, or at least try. No one will look down on you for asking questions or trying to answer them. It's a skill you need. Most Chinese students that come into our program are not willing to make any mistakes. We tell them They're learners now. A learner cannot learn unless he makes mistakes. If they know the answer already, why are they there? So you have to make mistakes. You have to put your face in your pocket. You have to change from being a student, sitting and listening, to becoming an active, interactive learner. I would say spend a lot of time in libraries, join a reading club, get involved, and get involved in the group, an English-speaking group by yourself, not with other Chinese. In the beginning, you're going to have a lifetime of being involved with Chinese, but you're trying to get another skill for not only studying, but for after university. Most of you will want to work in an English working environment. There, it's even more important that you speak English and put your face in your pocket.
I know you like reading a lot. How did you become a good reader? And are there any skills to help Chinese students read faster?
Yes, I read comic books, lots of comic books. I progressed from just normal comic books to classical comic books. So there was more written words and less pictures. At last I moved to novels, just words, because your mind will create all the images. It's if you have everybody has a great imagination. You can imagine anything. So I read a lot and read topics that I was very interested in. That maybe helps a lot. Speed comes with practice. You will just get better automatically. I've always read, and I am still reading. I have a fiction novel on my beside my bed, which I read in most nights, and I have about 3 nonfiction books that I'm reading. I read more than I watch TV. Reading makes your mind active. Your mind has to create the pictures itself. TV, you just sit there and you watch and listen to what they deliver. I think reading really will help you in your lifetime because it helps your mind go to work.
How can Chinese students get involved in local communities?
The easiest way when they first come is to join some of the many clubs and activities, sports activities that the university offers. That's a big part of university in Canada. Join clubs, and especially join clubs where best you're the only Chinese student in the club. But as long as you don't join with 3 other Chinese students and then stand there and talk Chinese. Join the clubs. You will be welcome. But you need to speak English, and don't worry about how poor your English is. You must think your English is getting better and better. Then it automatically gets better and better. But if you say my English is poor, the subconscious part of your mind will keep it poor. You will stay poor. So you've got to say my English is getting better and better until your subconscious goes to work to make it better and better. That's just how it works. You can also volunteer. Volunteer in hospitals. You can volunteer. There's many opportunities to volunteer, and it will be in English speaking situations. Do not board with Chinese where they only speak Chinese, especially in the first year or two. You're going to be out of your comfort zone. You just have to accept that. You will get used to it and you will enjoy it and get a lot more from your experience in Canadian universities. Spend a lot of time in libraries.
Thank you very much for your time, Professor Humbke. To wrap up our interview, we have our last question. Is there any other advice for our Chinese students?
Not really. The main things you must remember is to put your face in your pocket. You are going to be out of your comfort zone. If you happen to go to church, it'll probably be the first time you've ever been there. You will be scared silly. You're out of your comfort zone. There will be many instances of this happening. You've got to get used to it. I came to China. I was out of my comfort zone for 2 years. I asked every time I sat down, what is that? What am I eating? I want to know. And then I would say something like, no, I can't eat that. I've never eaten that. After 2 years, I had a day came when I ate dog, and I found it to be very delicious, but I didn't know it was dog. I would never have eaten it if I'd known it was dog, but I ate it and it was excellent. And I did it often after that. I never asked again, but it took 2 years for me. So enjoy different foods. Don't ask, what is it? What is it? Try it. Also make friends with people who don't speak English. Again, put your face in your pocket. You've got to ask questions. You've got to interact. University professors expect you to make mistakes. And it's a sign of a good person if they ask questions and they're not ashamed to say, I don't know. We can find out. So get involved. Face in your pocket, out of your comfort zone. Thank you very much. Bye.